Hey, so how many days of school do we have left?
I think we have 3.5.
Oh, wow. I'm already dreaming about summer.
That's funny because strange things can happen on a Midsummer Night's Dream.
How do you know what happens in my dream?
I'm talking about the play.
Oh, well, what things kind of happen in that play?
Well, a person turning into a donkey is pretty crazy.
Oh, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Such as with transforming a human into a donkey, William Shakespeare had a talent of enlivening dramatic historical events, old stories, and current popular characters. Returning to his earlier life, William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in Stratford upon Avon in Warwickshire. His mother, Mary Arden, was a daughter of a wealthy landowner who married a glovemaker named John Shakespeare. It is believed that William Shakespeare attended the King George VI Grammar School near his home. After turning 18 years old, William Shakespeare married a woman named Anne Hathaway who was 8 years his senior. 6 months after the wedding, they had their first child and named her Susanna. 2 years after Susanna, the couple had a set of twins named Hamnet and Judith. Hamnet unfortunately died at age 11. The following period of Shakespeare's life is often referred to as the lost years. The term comes from the fact that there is little to no documentation of his life in this period of 7 years. When the 7-year gap is over, he is in London working in the theatre. By this time, word about his plays has spread. Along the way, he must have offended some people, for a man by the name of Robert Greene described him as an upstart crow. Shakespeare then became one of the managing partners of the Lord Chamberlain's Company, later known as the King's Company. The King's Company mainly performed in the Blackfriars Theatre and the Globe Theatres, which are located in the Southwark area of London. After rising in popularity at an alarming rate for some time, Shakespeare started to perform often for the Queen. He was referred to as the greatest writer of comedy and tragedy in England. Shakespeare lived his final 5 years in his home, which he named New Place, in Stratford. Morbidly, he died on his birthday in 1616. He then left his property to his grandchildren. Shakespeare is known for his ability to enliven and dramatize historical events, old stories, and popular characters. During his early career in the 1590s, Shakespeare concentrated on rewriting events in English history. He used current history books like the Chronicles of England, Scotland, and Ireland as a base for his stories. Some of his historical printed plays include King Henry VI and Richard III. Then, in the early 1600s, Shakespeare started to explore romantic comedies. This is where A Midsummer Night's Dream comes to life. Shakespeare drew from his old favorite Latin poet Ovid. Ovid often wrote stories of humans transforming into animals. Shakespeare also borrows Ovid's concept of blaming a wall in Pyramus and Thisbe by making the wall a character. Others of the most well-known characters in Shakespeare's play, like Bottom, Oberon, Titania, and Puck, were borrowed from folklore and Latin books. Shakespeare's core talent lay in enlivening and mixing the characters to make a more exciting and expressive plot than the original. The first performance of A Midsummer Night's Dream is said to be written for an aristocrat's wedding in the 1590s. Due to a few references to Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth might have attended the first performance as well. A Midsummer Night's Dream was popular to the general public as well. Released and printed in 1600, the play was an immediate success due to the range of emotions in the play.
So, Aleck, tell them what happens in this scene.
Well, the first scene that we're performing lays out the initial love conflicts between Hermia and her two suitors, and Helena. Hermia's father instructs Hermia to marry Demetrius. Hermia instead wishes to marry Lysander, but her father threatens her with death and exile. Alone and troubled, Hermia dwells on her situation. In the performance of this Act 1, Scene 1, Lysander and Hermia debate their future plans. Helena also comes to Hermia to discuss her love problems.
Okay, let's watch it.
How now, my love? Why is your cheek so pale? How chance the roses there do fade so fast?
Belike for want of rain, which I could well beteem from the tempest of my eyes.
Ay me, for aught that I could ever read, could ever hear by tale or history, the course of true love never did run smooth, but either it was different in blood,
O cross, too high to be enthralled, too low.
or else misgraft in respect of years,
O spite, too old to be engaged, too young.
or else it stood upon the choice of friends,
O hell, to choose love by another's eyes.
or if there were a sympathy in choice, war, death, or sickness did lay siege to it, making it momentary as any sound, swift as a shadow, short as any dream, brief as the lightning in the colleague night, that in spleen unfolds both heaven and earth, and ere a man hath power to say, behold, the jaws of darkness do devour it up so quick, bright things to come to confusion.
If then two lovers have been ever crossed, it stands as an edict in destiny. Then let us teach our trial patience, because it is a customary cross, as due to love as thoughts and dreams and sighs, wishes and tears, poor fanciers' followers.
A good persuasion, therefore hear me, Hermia. I have a widow aunt, a dowager of great revenue, and she hath no child. From Athens is her house remote 7 leagues, and she respects me as her only son. There, gentle Hermia, may I marry thee, and to that place the sharp Athenian law cannot pursue us. If thou lovest me, then steal forth thy father's house tomorrow night.
I swear to thee by Cupid's bow, by his best arrow with the golden head, by the simplicity of Venus's doves, by that which kinneth souls and prospers loves, and by that fire which burned the Carthage queen, by the false Trojan under sail that was seen, by all the vows that ever man has broke, in number more than ever woman spoke. In that same place thou hast pointed me. Tomorrow truly I will follow thee.
Oh, keep promise, my love. Look, here comes Helena.
Godspeed, fair Helena. Whither away?
Call you me fair? That fair again unsay. Demetrius loves your fair. Oh, happy fair. Your eyes are stars, and your tongue sweet air, more tunable than lark to shepherd's ear. When wheat is green, and hawthorn buds appear, sickness is catching, oh, were favor so. Yours I would catch, fair Hermia, ere I go. My ear should catch your voice, my tongue should catch your tongue's sweet melody. Were the world mine, Demetrius being baited, the rest I'd give to you to be translated. Oh, teach me how you look, and with what art you sway the motion of Demetrius' heart.
I frown upon him, and yet he loves me still.
Oh, that your frowns would teach my smiles such skill.
I give him curses, and he gives me love.
Oh, that my prayers could such affection move.
The more that I hate, the more he follows me.
The more that I love, the more that he hateth me.
His fault, not mine, fair Helena.
His folly, Helena, is no fault of mine.
Take comfort, nor more shall he see my face. Lysander and myself will fly this place.
Now I will mention a few key characters. First is Hermia. Hermia is a beautiful daughter who is going to get married. Lysander and Demetrius are both besotted with her. Hermia prefers Lysander, but her father demands she marry Demetrius. The next character is Lysander. Lysander loves Hermia dearly, but Hermia's father doesn't approve of him. Another character is Demetrius. Hermia's father approves of Demetrius, however, Demetrius also has an admirer named Helena, which he would like to shake. Now for Helena. Helena is madly in love with Demetrius. Demetrius does not love her. The fifth character is Oberon. Oberon is the fairy king in the play. He and his queen Titania are fighting. Oberon instructs Puck to enact revenge on his queen Titania. The final character is Puck. He's also my favorite. Puck is Oberon's mischievous prankster. Puck claims innocence while causing many love complications in the story. He mistakenly gives love potions to the wrong people.
Following the scene performed, the play goes on to tell the tale of Hermia and Lysander's love. From the castle where they spoke and met with Helena, the two plan to meet in the woods far from the city. There they plan to devise an escape route to Lysander's aunt's home, where they can be married in peace. Their plans are foiled when Helena tells Demetrius, Hermia's betrothed, of their plot. Helena tells this to Demetrius because she loves him and wants him to love her as well. The only problem is, Demetrius loves Hermia. So once the four problematic lovers are all together in the woods, trouble begins to stir. On a different tangent, there is a group of fairies who have recently returned from India. Titania, the fairy queen, has brought back an Indian boy. Oberon, the fairy king, wants to make him a knight, but Titania won't let him. Oberon orders his servant Puck to obtain a flower with magic that can make someone fall in love with the first person they see. He then tells Puck to use it on Titania, and also on an Athenian man he saw recently being rude to an Athenian woman. The Athenian man he is referring to is Demetrius, and the woman, Helena. Helena has followed Demetrius through the woods against his wishes, and has threatened to kill her. Puck comes upon Lysander instead, and uses the flower against him. When Lysander wakes, his eyes fall upon Helena, who had arrived just then, with Demetrius. Puck later realizes his mistake and ends up causing both Demetrius and Lysander to fall in love with Helena. This causes Helena to become distraught, not believing that both men have suddenly fallen in love with her. Also, Hermia is taken by surprise when Lysander proclaims that he does not love her. In the end, Puck reverses Lysander's love for Helena, but not Demetrius's. The king and queen of the land where the four lovers hail from find them in the woods the next morning and take them home to be married. The two couples are wed, and then everyone goes to sleep that night. The influence of the scene performed is to set up the strife the lovers face later on. Lysander proclaims his love for Hermia after the two have been told they cannot marry. Also, Helena is introduced to be somewhat pitiable and lovesick. She declares Hermia to be better than she, and that she still loved Demetrius. It is clear to see that one of the major themes is the difficulty of love. It is inevitable that with love comes hardship, and this play focuses on that. Though the hardships faced by the characters are probably not very commonly faced in the real world, it does draw parallels to many conflicts experienced in everyday life. As Lysander says, the course of true love never did run smooth. So I thought the play was alright, but it was really confusing.
Oh, well, I thought it was okay, but it might be because I did some research beforehand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do you want to hear it?
Yeah, what does it say?
Okay, well, it's kind of boring, but I can read it for you. I did some research about Harold Bloom and his professional assessment of the play, so I'll just read it. Okay. A sterling professor of the humanities and English at Yale University, Harold Bloom is a well-qualified individual. Harold Bloom teaches an undergraduate Shakespeare course and has even written various books about Shakespeare. In his widely recognized book, Shakespeare, The Invention of a Human, Mr. Bloom proceeds to critique the Shakespearean play A Midsummer Night's Dream. Mr. Bloom first notes, nothing by Shakespeare before A Midsummer Night's Dream is its equal, and in some respects nothing by him afterward ever surpassed it. Mr. Bloom also states that A Midsummer Night's Dream is unique and that it is one of the only 3 plays that Shakespeare does not base his plot from another source. Unswayingly impressed by this play, Harold lauds this piece is without a flaw. Unfortunately, none of the performances ever seem to live up to the play. This partly stems from the misinterpretation of the characters. For instance, Bottom, a character in the play within the play, is meant to be a quite innocent character. However, directors often sexualize him. As Harold Bloom puts it, violence exalters should really look elsewhere. Harold Bloom lastly compliments the title, A Midsummer Night's Dream. I thought this part was really cool. By not specifying which date in the summer, Shakespeare creates an airy image that this could happen on any day of the summer. As Mr. Bloom put it, because he put it the best, there is a casual throwaway gesture in the title. This could be anyone's dream or any night of midsummer when the world is largest.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Hey, wait, you never told me what you thought about the play.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, I remember thinking about it earlier, and it was really hard to put into words. So I wrote it down so that I would remember.
Sure.
Okay, so basically what I had was A Midsummer Night's Dream is noticeably different than most other Shakespearean plays in that it deals with a debatably petty issue. Not to say necessarily that love is petty, but that a weird love triangle that eventually works out anyway is somewhat trivial.
Okay.
When compared to Romeo and Juliet, also centered around a love conflict, the plot is not as dramatic or powerful. This, though, is because it's a comedy. Most of Shakespeare's famous works are tragedies, such as Hamlet, Othello, and Macbeth. So in the end, it makes sense that the plot be lighter and less impactful. Personally, though, I do enjoy the play a lot. I happen to prefer comedies over tragedies, I guess, due to the simple fact that no one dies.
Okay, well, thank you for reading that out loud for me, Aleck.
You're welcome.